Due to the demonetization of true crime videos on YouTube, I've created a Patreon for those of you who would like to support the channel. The link is in the description below. Get access to ad-free content, early access, and exclusive videos depending on the tier. Thank you so much. Also, we've created a Discord channel for those of you who would like to join the community. Link in the description. Hello, and welcome back to another Interrogation Breakdown. We have hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I want to say a truly heartfelt thank you to everyone who's been watching, subscribing, liking, and commenting on these videos. I started this channel because I enjoyed making this content, but I will say editing is a lot of work. Your comments have motivated me so much. Knowing people are enjoying something I've worked so hard on is gratifying. You guys are honestly the best, and I hope you're all having an amazing day. This interrogation is a subscriber request. This video is going to be introductory with some analysis sprinkled in here and there. This is the first part in a two-part series, and the majority of the analysis will be in the next video on Friday. This is mainly for background. The Amato family consisted of Chad, 59, Margaret, 61, Jason, 35, Cody, 31, and Grant, 29. Chad, Margaret, Cody, and Grant all lived in the same house in Florida. Cody and Grant both decided to become nurses. In June of 2018, Grant was fired from his job as a nurse for allegedly stealing propofol, a medication which lowers consciousness, and also for misdosing patients. This sent Grant into a spiraling depression. He would stream on Twitch, hoping to one day make it big. During this time, Grant also became obsessed with a cam model he calls Sylvie. In the 3 months he watched her, he spent over $200,000 of his parents' and Cody's money, saying it was for growing his stream. Here's some video footage of Grant asking Sylvie for a free video of herself.
Alright, Sylvia, look at me. I am outside going to check the mail. And I'm asking you if you can please, pretty please, send me one of your videos. I love it so much when you just send them to me. Yeah, I don't like buying your stuff. It makes me feel weird. Could you please send me one though?
Even though Grant did this, his family still gave him another chance, with his dad taking out a second mortgage and not reporting him for fraud when Grant tried to take out a credit card in his dad's name. In December of 2018, the theft charges were dropped and Cody paid for Grant to go to Japan with him. However, when Grant returned, his father continued to pressure him to find a job, causing Grant to go to his aunt's house without communicating, which scared his mother into reporting him missing, citing Grant was feeling worthless. Grant started charging his camgirl account to his aunt's bank, so she called Chad and he begged her not to press charges. Cody even told his aunt he would pay her back every cent that Grant stole. Chad ended up revealing that he would have to delay retirement to make up for all the money Grant had spent, but it was worth it so he wouldn't go to jail. On December 22nd, 2018, Chad, Margaret, and Cody collected Grant from his aunt's house and drove him to a rehab center. Grant was voluntarily admitted to the 60-day program for SEX and PORN addictions. Grant only stayed for 2 weeks, checking himself out on January 4th, 2019, despite the fact that Cody had paid $15,000 up front for the entire program. In this time, Chad had gotten in contact with Sylvie and let her know where the money was really coming from. Reports say she wasn't really into talking to Grant after this, and Grant was extremely upset that his father had told Sylvie this. On January 5th, Chad gave Grant a list of rules he would have to follow if he wanted to continue living in the family home, which included not talking to Sylvie. On January 25th of 2019, Chad, Margaret, and Cody Amato were found shot to death in their home. On this same day, Cody's work called the police for a welfare check, as he had not missed a day in over 5 years. On January 26, 2019, Grant Amato was tracked down by detectives at a DoubleTree hotel and asked to come in for an interview. Grant agreed.
So you got a Coke or anything?
No. I'll hold off on that.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Eva.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm here.
Hey, we really appreciate you coming up here with us. And
Sure.
if any time during this you need to stop and go to the bathroom, want a drink,
Snacks.
just let me know and we'll be happy to get you in.
This tactic is used to get the suspect to feel good about coming in and talking to you, and to keep them as comfortable as possible so they will talk to you for as long as the detectives want. Also, if you come in voluntarily, the detectives do not have to read you your Miranda rights, as you are not being detained, and are technically not in part of an interrogation. You are in an interview.
My name is Danny Anderson, and I'm a deputy Seminole County Sheriff's Office, as is Eva. So we just want to talk to you a little bit, and we'll get this in and out, be on our way.
Okay.
Full name?
My full name is Grant Amato.
How do you spell Tiernan?
Tiernan.
I like that.
Your date of birth?
May 20th, 1989.
Okay. Home address?
Home address is 2112 Salton Circle, Chuliota, Florida, 32766.
Phone number?
For the home or for...
The home?
Well, I mean, my original cell phone number was 407-687-0738. Home phone number was 407-971-1422. My cell phone currently doesn't have any service with it, so, I mean, it's just...
So you don't have you haven't moved to another number, just that one's no longer good?
My dad had told me that when he disconnected my service that he also changed my phone number, so I don't know what the new phone number is,
Gotcha.
but, I mean, it's probably, like, you can probably still see it.
Do you have the phone, or...?
It was in my duffel bag.
Oh, gotcha.
Back there, yeah.
Gotcha. Email, do you have an email or anything if we need to...
My main email is Gamato, all one word, all lowercase, Gamato light, like a light bulb, @gmail.com.
Education?
I have a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing from UCF back in 2011.
The detectives start with talk about his background, building some rapport with the suspect before they confront him later on about crimes. This portion goes on for quite a bit.
And that's my highest level.
Okay. What is there any special nursing degree, what you do, or?
I mean, I have, like, other certifications. But, I mean, with that, like, I primarily worked in the hospital for, I think, 5 or 6 years. And then I was pursuing a Master's of Science in Nurse Anesthesia. That was back in 2015, I believe.
Okay.
But then I didn't complete that, and then I just went back to nursing. And then when this whole, like, wrongful accusation of the grand theft charge that I told you about in the car, when that happened, I stopped working at the hospital, and then that took, like...
I don't think we talked about that in the car.
Well, I was accused of grand theft of the third degree back in June of 2018.
What is with people telling detectives what they were accused of in the past? Don't say anything, but seriously, don't show a pattern of criminal behavior. Let them do their job on their own. Do not give yourself up. The next 25 minutes contains no analysis, as it's just the detectives getting comfortable with Grant, keeping him talking, and letting him tell them everything about himself. It's all the same tactic. Letting the suspect get comfortable and tell you a bunch of details, so that way, if you have to, you can use the details against them later, but also it keeps the suspect comfortable, and the repeated head nods and agreement from the detectives will make Grant feel like they are on his side.
That, like, went on for 6 months, and during that time I obviously wasn't allowed to work because of it. And then...
Where was that at?
Florida Hospital South, the main one down in Orlando.
Down on Orange Avenue?
Rollins, that's what it is,
okay.
Rollins.
Okay.
So when that happened, obviously I was dismissed from that job, and then I couldn't get another job because now you have an outstanding felony charge on your name.
Sure.
So then I got the attorney. It all went through, and then finally in December, they posted on the Orange County Clerk Courts or whatever website where your file is that there was no evidence ever presented. All the charges were dropped, and now I'm just in the process of expunging that from my records.
Right.
But because I can't keep just not working forever.
Sure.
And that was kind of a topic around the house was I need to get started here.
Right. Who was your attorney for that?
Lauren Lycum, Chapman Law Group.
Okay.
I think that one's based in Sarasota.
Okay.
So then...
But they didn't really have to do anything.
No,
state attorney didn't file any charges. So.
No, state attorney didn't file anything, and then she just presented that she was going to be my attorney, and that was the most work she ever had to do.
Okay.
And then I had been applying for jobs for the last couple weeks. I'd gotten like 3 or 4 callbacks. And then I went on a job interview yesterday for a home infusion nurse job.
Where was that at?
That was with Accredo.
Is that like a staffing, or is that like a headhunter kind of job?
No. That's like their actual company. It's God, why can I not remember the first name? It's something Scripts. Team Scripts.
Where's the location?
It's out close to the airport. It's on Lee Vista.
What time was your interview yesterday?
It was scheduled for 10. I got there at around 9 in the morning. And then I think we actually had the interview at about 9:45.
How'd that go?
I mean, it was all good. They didn't have anything. They said that they'd probably be getting back to me by Tuesday or Thursday this coming week.
Get you back to work?
Yeah, because, I mean, it's a crappy world when, you don't have any money, you can't do anything, so.
Financially, how's the nursing what you did? I'm sorry, I just don't know that much. She knows a lot more about nursing than I do. The nursing, how does it pay? How does it pay?
I mean, if you work your standard 3 12 hours a week, you get anywhere between, I'd say, $45,000 and $55,000 a year. So, I mean, it's not bad. Obviously, if you work overtime, like some of the nurses who have also been nurses for a long time, I mean, they can make 6 figures if you work 5.
What was your best year?
I think my best year, I made like $55,000.
55.
Because I rarely worked overtime.
Right.
When I was because I had the whole plan of going to graduate school, so I was just kind of using it as a stepping stone for that time.
Just to pay the bills to get you where you gotta. Gotcha. And what you were going for, what does that pay?
Nurse anesthesia pays, I mean, base like about 150 up to 175. You work a lot of overtime, you can cusp 200, but then
So what would you actually be doing?
If I could do anything.
No, I mean with that job, that nursing
Right.
What would you do?
Oh yeah, nurse anesthetist.
Thank you.
You're in the OR. You put the patients to sleep, keep them alive during surgery, wake them up, send them off to the.
I thought that was a doctor that did that.
In Florida, the anesthesiologist, which is the MD equivalent, if you will, they have to come in at the start of surgery. They have to induce the patient to put them to sleep, and then as long as they're comfortable with you, the surgeon's comfortable with you, then the anesthesiologist leaves, and then you take care of the whole entire surgical
Just oversee
case.
it.
Right.
Okay.
And then again, by the time you're a CRNA, you're obviously competent enough to wake the patient up. So when I was a student, though, the anesthesiologist would sometimes come back in for wake up to make sure everything's okay, and then you take them to the PACU or the post-op area, drop them off, you give the nurse report, and then you go on to your next case.
Okay. High school, where'd you go?
I went to Timber Creek High School on Avalon.
Okay. And graduated what year?
2007.
Okay. And then did you go right to UCF and start your degree program?
Summer, yeah.
Okay. What kind of grades you make? How were your grades?
High school and the first 2 years of college, I was A, B, C. I was in honors in the major program for UCF. And then my final 2 years when I was getting my BSN, I made A's and B's, and then I had one slip up in my final semester where I had to redo a class, and then I ended up graduating in August.
Of what year?
2011.
Okay. And did you start work right after that?
Yeah, I think like a couple months after.
And went to work where?
I first worked on the intermediate critical care unit at ORMC in downtown.
Okay. And then went from where? Up to Rollins at some point?
No. I went to I worked in the ICC there at that hospital, and then I worked in the multi-system ICU at that hospital. And then I applied for the graduate school in December, or I started going in January of 2014.
Was that at Barry?
That was at Barry University, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Girlfriends?
Girlfriends. I had, like my high school sweetheart, girlfriend for about 5 years. And then ever since then, no like official girlfriends, no flings or anything like that.
Dates here and there?
Dates occasionally, but I mean not really. Kind of focused on like just getting through the life goals that I wanted to achieve. And then
you have a bunch of school debt?
I mean, not anything from UCF. I have about $100,000, I'd say, from my math when I was going to Barry. So that's the only school debt that I have right now. It kind of creeped back up when I wasn't working, so I had to go on to the deferred payments or whatever it's called until I get a job.
What do you like to do?
What do I like to do? I like to watch anime. Me and my brother kind of started doing that back 5 years ago, I'd say. He kind of got me into it.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I don't know what it is.
I mean...
I thought you said MMA. I'm like, okay, and then when you started explaining to it,
I mean,
I
guess
heard it, I'm like, no.
It's animated, it's like cartoons, I guess you could say, but it's Japanese cartoons, I guess is the best way to put it. So, it's not as, it's like the stories and whatnot and the way that the shows progress, it's not as childish as cartoons as you would think, like Powderpuff Girls and SpongeBob SquarePants and all that stuff. It's not like that.
So it's adult-based.
It's adult-based, yeah, you can put it that way, yeah. It's it can cover like slice of life where it's just comedies, it can get dramatic, romance, all those different things.
Where would one watch this?
You download it from the internet, and then you can just watch it at home, like on your computer. You can watch it on, you can watch it anywhere you have an internet.
Is it in Japanese, or?
It is in Japanese, and then they subtitle it, yeah.
Do you speak Japanese?
I was going to say, do you understand?
I don't. I understand a few words. We actually just went to, me, my brother, and one of my friends, or I guess friends from high school, we went to Japan from December 1st to December 15th.
Oh, wow.
So we went, because, and it was anime that kind of inspired us to want to go there.
Was that your first time going?
Yeah. First time actually I
Who
was
went?
in the
You and your
US.
brother and who?
Our friend Jericho.
Jericho.
He was originally a friend of my brother's back in high school, and then we all have kind of stayed close.
How expensive was that trip?
God, plane tickets alone were like $1,400, and then I'd say it was probably about $10,000 total for like all the stays and whatnot.
For each one of you?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was 2 weeks. So.
How did
you were there?
Yeah. How'd you spend your time over there?
God, we went to Tokyo for the first 4 days, and then we stayed there, and then we went to Kyoto for 2 days, and then I cannot remember all the names of the specific places, but then it was like 1 day stays at ryokans, which are like guest houses or inns.
How's the food?
Food is great. We were too scared to actually go into like the shops,
right.
like the side shops, because all in Japanese, they all know what they're doing, and we don't want to like say it wrong or do whatever, like impose. So we actually survived a lot at night on just like food that you get from 7-Eleven, because over there it's called 7 and I, but it's like the 7-Eleven symbol, so it's the same exact thing, and it's got way better food than what like the 7-Elevens that we have here. So
would you go back?
Oh yeah, we would go back.
Really?
Yeah, I think we were actually planning on going back November of this year.
In fact, how long have you been out of work?
I've been out of work for 6 months, since June.
How did you pay? That's a lot of money for to be out of work.
My brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my brother.
What does he do?
He's the CRNA.
What is it?
Sorry, the Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist.
Okay, so we
were both in the program together.
Okay.
And then he was able to finish, and then I did not.
So he was making good money.
Yeah.
Was he making that 150, 100?
He was working.
He was
working a lot. I don't know if he was. I think he was cusping a lot of overtime, not scheduled, but like it's just kind of what happens. But yeah, he was moving along.
What do you think he made his best year?
God, he showed me, because he was he was complaining about how like his taxes alone were like the annual income of like a nurse. And I think when he showed me before like it had all ended, like before his pay year had ended, that he was already up to like 166, but that was like after I think the $60,000 or $40,000 already came out. I can't remember.
That was after it?
Yeah, I think so.
So he made more than 160?
That was take home.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
we definitely picked the wrong job.
I should have stayed in nursing.
Yeah, definitely.
So he just paid for your trip to go, since you're both into this.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Jericho, what's he do?
He's got just a high school diploma, so I think for the majority of the past year, he was working as one of those what are they called? They're like the people that watch the security cams when you go into like a Gap or something like that. He's like watching loss prevention. That's it, correct.
How did he pay for all that?
I guess he just saved.
Brother didn't have to pay for him?
No, yeah. He like covered maybe some like daily expenses if there was like a taxi
food or something. Right.
Yeah.
How long did you guys plan this prior? 2 years. 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 2 years
I mean, it had been a dream of ours to go for a couple years, and then we really started planning probably just the year before.
Oh, okay.
Like, actually, like, putting the money aside, getting all the reservations and whatnot scheduled.
Like the dream trip to go there?
Yeah.
This is for that anime, you call it?
I mean, it was the inspiration.
Did you go
When
there?
we went there, though, we just kind of took up all the culture, because through the anime, you kind of see little glimpses of what the culture's actually like.
Mm-hmm.
So then we just wanted to kind of experience all that.
So it was a good time. And definitely worth going back for.
Definitely.
Hobbies. What do you like to do?
Okay, so
Besides the anime.
Besides that, we would play video games. We actually just got like a virtual reality headset thingy for like the computer. That was kind of fun.
What kind of games do you play?
God, back in the day, we played Call of Duty a lot, like back in the day, and then we got out of that because it was just starting to get too like.
Which system did you use?
PlayStation. Oh, PlayStation. Then we went to Xbox because that was like what a couple of our friends had. And then we went back to PlayStation. And then me and my brother got into PC gaming. Where on that we just play like MOBAs, which are like strategy type games, RPG type games.
So I've got to ask, since you're into these game stuff.
I know none of
Did
that.
you hack?
Did I hack?
You guys, did you and your brother hack games?
With,
Are you the guys that I've played with when I was out of work for a couple months because of an injury that would hack and would cheat me and lower me down to the lowest level of nothing?
No.
Okay.
We weren't that technologically gifted. But I mean, we would use like glitches or something like that when we would play on the PC, where you could like have no recoil, or it would like auto aim or something like that.
So yes is the answer. You're telling me.
I mean, yeah, but we didn't hack other people's accounts.
No, because I've seen people in the middle of an Xbox game. They'll tell you that they'll find somebody that's cheating, and you'll see this big hand come in and grab them. They say, "Come over here against this section of the game," and the guy's splatted against the wall, and they just stand there and they shoot him. He dies, and he comes right back there.
Oh, geez.
You're not one of those guys.
No,
Okay.
I don't even
All right.
Fortunately,
Because we're fixing to have a big problem because you probably got me before. So you guys play a lot of the PC games then?
Yeah, we started getting into PC games primarily. I haven't turned on my PlayStation in months. I think the only other game that we really played was Fortnite, but then that was starting to get to like.
That's a big deal right now.
Yeah.
The younger
Kids are all over it.
generation.
And actually, yeah, during the time that I wasn't working as a nurse, I tried to do the whole Twitch streaming thing.
What is that?
I'm
sorry.
No.
We're kind of older where you have to explain a lot of this to us.
With Twitch, it's you got your mic and then you have your face cam, and then basically people are just watching you play whatever game you're going to say that you're playing.
Okay.
And then they can donate, they can subscribe to you, which then you get like a monthly payment.
Did you have anybody doing that for you?
I had I think I was up to like 30 something subscribers.
And what would you charge them to?
With subscriptions, there's 4 tiers of it. Tier 1 is just $5. So right when you see that you blank subscribe to it, you get $5.
Is that monthly or just total?
Actually, Twitch pays you every 45 days because you're like an independent, self-employed or something.
No, but saying with their account, though, they subscribe to you. Would it be for a 30-day period? Or
Yes.
So every 30 days, they owe you another $5.
If they resubscribe.
Right.
Yeah. So then there was that. Tier 2 was like $10. Tier 3 was $15. Then if somebody tier 4'd, it was $24, I think.
And what is
it? In chat. So that when you're playing, everybody who's in your room can chat about what you're doing or anything random. And then donations can range from 1 cent up to however high.
So what were you making off of Twitch a month?
Nothing really significant. It was like.
So you said about 30 people at one time subscribed to you. So a minimum what?
$150.
$150, and then a few donations. But primarily, I guess just keeping myself busy.
Right.
Doing something.
There's a lot of money in this.
Now are these adults doing this or kids?
They're in their early 20s.
Okay.
There's thousands and thousands of streamers who do that on Twitch, but there's maybe like 5 that make 6 figures. And then like the 2 most prominent ones are Ninja and Tim the Tatman, and they both play Fortnite. Like Ninja, I think, makes $300,000 a month from just doing it.
$300,000?
Yeah.
And where's he at?
Like, where does he live?
No, U.S., Japan, somewhere.
Oh, yeah, he's U.S. I think he lives up by Chicago or something like that. But he's only 24.
I'm so oblivious to all this computer stuff.
No, you're
We played Atari when I was younger.
Atari, yeah, nice retro gaming.
Or Pong.
Pong, yeah,
Pong.
our first one.
So you do that, and so you got a lot of computer knowledge.
A good amount, yeah. I mean,
more than the average person.
Yeah. I'm computer savvy. Yeah.
You have a computer at home? Good computer?
I have a gaming PC up in my room. And then there's another gaming PC downstairs that we just built for the VR specific.
You guys build it?
Yeah. And then, but I mean, yeah, even like my gaming PC, like we would buy all the parts and then we would put it together our own little way.
What would a good one cost you?
When I built mine, it was about $3,000, and then the gaming one downstairs, I think, was $4,000 or like $4,500.
And that's basically used for the VR stuff you're using it for?
Yeah.
And that was pretty neat
Yeah,
setup?
yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was cool. Getting into the
How many
virtual
games you play?
On virtual reality, it was primarily just Beat Saber. So it's like a rhythm-based game, like Guitar Hero, like Rocksmith or Rock Band, whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just use the virtual reality wands to hit the cubes in a certain way, however the song beat's going.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
I need to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apart from that, we really didn't get into too many other games yet, because we were kind of just focused on Beat Saber.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we had downloaded a few other where it's just like you're going through like a world and you can interact with the world or something like that.
What other hobbies do you have?
Besides that, a number of years ago, like me and my brother were actually like gun enthusiasts, and you know we did it wrong, where we did it all during when the season was like high, so everything cost so much money.
During hunting season?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, unfortunately, we don't hunt or anything like that. But we would go like clay shooting.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you go?
Primarily the place we went to is Quail Creek Plantation.
Where's that at?
Like I was telling you in the car, I don't remember the.
No, is it local or is it?
It's like an hour and a half away from here.
You know what county it's in or city?
Quail Creek Plantation.
The only place I know, gun range I really know, I mean, that you'll do stuff like that is out in Geneva.
There's one in Geneva, right?
Yeah, I think there's one out there.
I mean, that might be where it is, but I don't remember the city specifically. But we would do the clay shooting, and then we were part of the Volusia County gun and shooting.
Gun club or something?
Yeah, whatever it was called. But that was like 2 years ago. The only thing that we really kept up with was clay shooting. But even that, I don't think we've done that for like 8 months or something.
What were you shooting? What was your gun for that? What would you like?
Me and my brother both got the Benelli, like long Super Magnum,
Supernova, I think it is?
Supernova. That's what it is. We both had those, and then during the time where like I was struggling, like in this last 6 months, I mean, I sold all of my guns.
What'd you have?
What did I
have? You have a little gun collection going?
I did. I had about 4 ARs.
Mm-hmm.
They were all just where you would buy like the different parts again, kind of like with the PC, and then just put them all together.
Because I'm not a gun like that. Why so many ARs?
I mean, again, we were just like an enthusiast for wanting to build our own things and just kind of seeing what we could come up with.
Were you building stuff or you buying them already made?
We would buy the specific parts and then have them sent to the gun clubs or whatever, so that you could pick them up. And then we would put them all together.
You guys build them yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have nobody do it for you?
No. Yeah.
So you had 4 ARs. What'd you have? What else?
Besides that, I had Benelli M4 shotgun. Yeah.
Tactical shotgun.
Tactical shotgun.
What were you using that for?
That was like our favorite.
That
was just our gun that like me and my brother both had one of those.
You both had one.
Yeah, and then we had that had always just been our dream gun that we just wanted to have, was a tactical M4. We took it to the range a couple times just to put some rounds through it.
I've got an M1.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But the M4 is much nicer.
Yeah. And then we had the Supernovas, which we just used for clay shooting, and then pistols wise, I had, I think 4 or 5 just pistols.
What do you have?
I had a Glock 17, I believe it was. I had, it's not the Shield. It's a Smith & Wesson M9 something. I don't remember what it is. And then I had a Taurus which was, I think, like a 45 caliber.
Mhm.
And then I had, again, it's like the dream gun that I always wanted was the FN Tactical 45
Mhm.
with like the threaded barrel and all that stuff.
The TD gun?
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
No suppressors or anything
Right.
like that, because again, during that time, it's like to get your stamp alone would take 6 months, and then you
Mhm.
gotta wait however
Right.
long to get that back. So we never got that deep into it.
Still have them all, or you said you got rid of some of them?
I sold all my
Did
guns.
you?
Yeah.
Which sums it?
The Florida Gun Exchange.
The what?
Florida Gun Exchange.
Where's that at?
It's down in. They have one in. God, I am just. It's some. Ormond Beach. Ormond
okay.
Beach. That's the one.
You took them over and sold them?
Yes.
Sold them all at one time, or?
No, just because I didn't want to go in with too many.
Right.
And then I felt like they
They'd
would.
look at you like, who's this guy with all these guns?
Yeah, or they would like cut me a lower deal because
Right.
I'm giving them like a whole bunch.
What'd you get for the ARs?
ARs, unfortunately, like it wasn't that much. It was only like $3,000 or something like that
For the
all
four
of them. Yeah, just because they're
How much you spend on them, you think?
way more, like at least double. Because again, we bought them during the height of the season, and then I'm selling apparently where it's like not a good season to sell. And they told me that if they're not just like companies that I can't even think of one, like companies that make their own, and they're just like a fool, like this whole gun is all by this company or whatever. Those apparently sell for more than like a custom one,
Mhm.
because some people might not like what I put on it, you know.
Mhm.
So I think that's why I probably didn't
How
get
about the
it.
handguns? What'd you get for them?
Handguns was maybe like total was like $1,500 or something like
It
that.
had a lot more in those.
And the FN alone was $1,600.
You buy all them all new?
Yeah, all new.
The rifles you put together.
Rifles we put
you
together.
customized them.
Yeah, the
But the handguns were they?
handguns were brand new. Shotguns were new.
What'd you get for shotguns? What'd you get for them for?
For the M4, that one was like the highest one. I think they gave me like $1,100 for it.
What'd you pay for it?
About 15.
Yeah,
1500.
that's not too
So
bad.
it's not too bad.
Not too bad.
And then for the Supernova, it was only about $700, but that one cost about $1,200. And that one, I think we actually had to get from Gander Mountain,
Mhm.
way back when.
Do you have any of these left? Anything, or do you keep anything for yourself?
No. I ended up
Got rid of
selling
everything.
Got rid of everything. So
These detectives are dedicated to building a strong relationship with Grant before confronting him. They get background on his computer knowledge, his gun knowledge, his family background, the money issues, everything.
I was just trying to get some semblance of money in.
Keep up with your payments.
Keep up with my payments, but also because like the whole trip was coming down the line. You know, my brother had to like foot the bill to get the attorney. So you know, it's like there was a lot of stuff.
What did you pay the attorney, offhand?
I think it was $8,000 for the holding the attorney.
Retainer?
Like, retainer fee.
And basically she had to do nothing.
She had to do nothing, and he got like annoyed because he apparently wasn't told that it was non-refundable. But I know that I told him because like I had to send in the document signing it saying this is non-refundable.
I've known of any attorney that takes a retainer that ever gives you anything back.
Yeah.
So
I didn't
to hire me, that's what it's going to cost.
Yeah, he didn't get anything back from that, unfortunately, and she ended up, I think, only going through about 3,000 of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, because, what was it? I think 5,000 was for the criminal case, and then 3,000 was for the other case if it had to go to the Department of Health,
Mm-hmm.
which that never had to happen, so that 3,000 is just...
So your nursing certificate is still good?
Free, clear, and active. It's always been clear and active. It's just the quintessential, you go to that background check,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll see an outstanding thing. Even though I have the paperwork now saying everything's been dropped, he's in the process of expunging his records.
Did you have to go in front of the board or anything?
No. I didn't have to go before the judge, because when...
No, I'm saying the board of nursing.
Oh, no.
With any of this.
No.
That's good.
You know, even when it all went down on the day where I was accused of that felony, you know, the cops came in and then they handcuffed me and they were like, you know, you've been charged with this. We're taking you down to the I think it was Orange County, the Orange County jail area. You know, I had to have the picture taken and stay in the sitting area where they process you all and everything like that. And you know, I'm using the phones on the cord, you know, trying to just pass around the phone, and I'm surrounded by all these guys who are talking about, you know...
Who are real criminals.
Yeah.
The detective says the real criminals to get Grant to feel like he's on his side. Grant had allegedly stolen an anesthetic drug and misdosed patients. That's a real crime. At this point, Grant's whole family is dead, and the detective is trying to prove Grant is the one responsible. He doesn't really think Grant isn't a criminal, but he is downplaying Grant's past so that way Grant will feel like he's on his side.
Who are real
And
criminals.
the first person I call is my dad. My brother. And
What is your brother's name? You keep
Cody.
saying my brother.
Cody,
Okay.
sorry. First person I called was him, and he was at work at the time, but he answered his phone, and I was just like, look, I'm freaking out. I've been charged with this. I've been told that my bond is this, and then I guess he tells, whoever was working that day with him, I gotta go. So then he calls my mom, he calls my dad, he smooths things over as best as he can, and he's just basically saying, I'm going to pay this. And then I think I was there for like 7 hours or something, even though it was paid within like the first hour.
Right. But it just takes a little time to get all
Right.
the paperwork and
Right.
the booking in and then the bond process to go through. And
Right.
out.
Right.
So that's dismissed. You're out looking for jobs, applying pretty regular.
But yeah, I mean, I'd say pretty regular.
Anything left in savings?
Nothing left in savings. I think I had like $300-400. But
Brother kind of helping you through.
yeah. I mean, brother was helping me. My dad was covering the rent that he calls it, which is just like the monthly payment for us to help since we all live at home.
What was that? What was you paying that?
$600
Each?
a month. Yeah. And then
It's not a bad deal, is it?
no. And then I mean he was covering like cell phone. We were paying for our own internet.
I imagine for that gaming and all that stuff, you got to have better than basic internet, didn't you?
Yeah, unfortunately out where we live, it's like our street, like the street coming down I think at Fort Christmas before you turn in, like that's the dividing line. Everything before you turn into Fort Christmas, all the nice big fancy houses that are on that side, they all have Spectrum and the gigabyte connection. They have everything available to them. But then right when you come down here where I guess the older neighborhoods are, they haven't branched out everything. So I think it was just AT&T that was providing service, and I mean we have the highest one, but it's still like I think it was 50 megabytes download and like 10 megabytes upload. So I mean it's not that great, but it was good.
So basically, all your computer systems were underworked for what their capabilities.
Yeah.
were.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sure that virtual reality takes up a lot of speed, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Close with your brother Cody? Let's talk about Cody.
Oh yeah. 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 Me and Cody.
Who's older, you or him?
He is. I'm the youngest one. I'm 29. He's 31.
Okay.
My oldest brother Jason is 35 or 36 now.
Uh-huh. Who lives at home?
It was
All three boys live at home?
no. It's just me and Cody, and then mom and dad.
Okay.
Uh,
Tell me about Cody.
Cody. Let's see. Me and Cody had the quintessential rough, like fighting each other and whatnot when we were younger.
The love-hate,
Right.
Typical siblings.
But then I would say like my junior year of high school, we were all on the weightlifting team together. That's where I got to know a lot of like his guy friends. And we stopped like arguing at that point. And then we all, we decided to go to nursing school together. We decided to go to the nurse anesthesia school together. I mean, we did everything together. I mean,
Who's the better student?
He was the better student in everything up through nursing school, and then I was actually the better student in nurse anesthesia school. But there was like again, kind of like with
Are you guys? Sorry.
No.
Are you guys at the same time in the same classes?
Yeah.
So you're the
But
exact same.
not for nursing school. Not for nursing.
No, I mean for the anesthesiology.
Yeah, we sat right next to each other.
So you're in there doing things together, so you got somebody to study with.
Yeah.
Somebody to bounce things off of and work with.
Yeah, and we would do that all the time when we were burning the midnight oil.
But you were better at it.
Yeah, and that was the one time that he actually admitted that I was didactically more competent than him in that field. And then
Who's better in weightlifting?
he was.
Oh, okay.
He broke a number of school records. I think he was like the 129 weight class. I was the 119 weight class. But he was definitely stronger in high school. And then but yeah, we were close. I mean like bonded, I don't really know how else to really say it. It was a lot of people thought that it was weird because we did everything together and because we were so close, but Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, a lot of people understand the bond of brothers, though.
Yeah.
The true bond if you're close with your brother.
And, I mean, during, like, this whole time, I mean, kind of like with just a few examples I've given you, he'd take care of everything for
Always
me.
there for you.
Yeah.
Always there to support you.
Always there.
Fight with you 1 minute, but make sure that you were not stuck in jail for some silly charge
right.
the next.
And, yeah, I mean, he's always been there for me, so.
The detective gets Grant to talk about his brother Cody. Grant talks about how much better Cody was at everything. Grant admits how wonderful Cody has been to him, financially supporting him and keeping him out of jail. Grant then openly admits to the detective that he and Cody have had fights, but Cody takes care of him.
With my oldest brother Jason, not so much, just because he was adopted to begin with, and then...
He was adopted by who?
My dad. He was my mom's son.
Was your mom married before your dad?
No.
Just had it.
Right.
Okay.
And then he was heavily restricted when we were younger, for lying and stuff like that to our dad.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he would he would go to school and then he'd come home. He'd have to stay in his room. There's like no TV or anything like that, especially 15 years ago or something like that. But he'd come down for dinner and then he'd go back up and he'd do his work. On the weekends and whatnot, he would go out and pick weeds and do that stuff, and then come in and then do the same thing. So unfortunately, me and Cody never really got to interact with Jason, the oldest brother, a whole lot. But I mean, Jason's been I think he's one of the most genuine people that you'd ever meet.
Cody's definitely one you're way closer with.
Yeah, hands down.
Go on vacations. He's helping with bills, helping with the legal issues.
Right, and I mean,
studied together.
We did everything together, connected at the hip.
Ever any issues really with him?
No, like I was saying, during this last 6 months, it had been a very trying time. Financially, trying to get the job thing going, worrying about this whole what's going to happen with this legal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But even through it all, I mean, he would have his moments where he would get extremely upset. He never gets violent, I guess you could say. But at one point he got so upset that he pushed a cabinet and then it dented into the wall. So he'll lose his temper, kind of like my dad. But yeah, I mean, at least with me, he's always been where he's there for me. Whatever it takes, regardless of what's happening, I'm going to take care of it for you. And I mean, over the last 6 months, I mean, it's been sad for me because I see everything that he's doing, and I can't be how I've always been with him, where I'm helping out too, or I can do something for you.
Right.
Where we're kind of on the same playing field. I know that you make more money than me and all that kind of stuff, but it's we can do the stuff together. You don't have to pay for my dinner. When we go out with the guys, you don't have to pay for the trip, It's just, I couldn't help relieve his stress, I guess, as well as I always used to. And
but it's also the camaraderie there that you got your brother to go do stuff with.
Right. But then, I mean, I know for me, I had been bummed out just because, I've been out of work. My whole life it's been school, work, school, back to work, and then just, that's it. Sacrificed all my 20s. I never went tailgating or anything like that.
Do you have any issues with depression over all the legal issues and beyond?
I would say that I was depressed.
The detective is doing such a good job. He's getting Grant to admit to everything about his state of mind. Grant admits he was depressed. All of this will add into motive for the crime they believe he committed.
But I'd always put on the happy face for my brother and whatnot.
How would you deal with the depression?
I'd talk to God. I'd try and just rationalize it in my head that I haven't heard anything from this attorney in 5 months, 6 months. I mean, you'd think that if it was something so severe that you would have heard about it by now. So I was just trying to rationalize to myself that hopefully this can all get taken care of, and then I can get back. I was looking towards the future. Then I can do what I'm doing now, where applying, everybody likes me when they talk to me and they look at my resume and they see all my experience, and then just waiting for if I get the call back.
Well, you got, of course, I'm sure you know this. You've got that little blemish over no fault of yours, it goes away, but still it's there, they can see it.
Right.
And then you have to explain away,
Right.
here, even though it was dropped, you still have that little check
Right.
mark that you've got to get by.
Right.
And then that's tough to go from what you were and you're working towards, the job your brother has.
Right.
And the financial gains, the difference between being a nurse and the program you're going to, it's a huge burden on you, of course.
Yeah.
Did you ever take any medication for the depression?
No, never. I never took any
Or even self-medicate?
No, I never took any like antidepressants or anything like that. I think the only thing, just because like sleeping was kind of off and on at a time, I would take like Benadryl just to like help me go to sleep back at home, and then when I think the only other thing is like sleep aid, which is again it's just diphenhydramine. Secondary side effect is just drowsiness. It's not like its actual purpose. And then melatonin, just to help with the sleep cycle. Because I worked nights all the time, so I was always a night owl, always awake. And then now it's like
trying to get back into
day shift. Because I'd be going to days. But that's the only thing I ever took. And then Advil, ibuprofen for like headaches. But no antidepressants, no medical history, none of that type of stuff.
But you and Cody, since you've been adults, any physical fist fights, anything? No.
When we were super young. But
Yes.
besides that, no.
Yes,
No, yeah.
So living at home is who?
Me, Cody, Dad, and Mom.
Tell me about your mom.
My mom has, she's always been the, it's kind of like Cody, she's always been the one that focused on me. And she worked at home.
What'd she do?
She was, God, I do not, like something manager, like a client manager for Nuance Transcription Company.
What is that?
Basically, Nuance, their major thing is medical transcription.
Okay.
So it's just all the things that the doctors are saying while you're in the hospital. And then
would she make sure that those all got transcribed?
She would manage the people who did all the transcriptions, and then she had a couple people where there's like the managers over those people that then she would also take care of. And I think she was in the stage now where she was kind of branching out to different countries. So she had just gotten like this Canada account.
The detectives get Grant to talk about his mom, and he can't stop mentioning her in past tense.
I think where she had to basically do the same thing, but now it's just all
she had a good job.
Oh yeah,
good paying job. It sounds like.
And yeah, she only, I think she told me that she completed high school. But if she didn't, then she didn't have a high school diploma, or she did. I honestly can't remember. And with that, when she first started doing everything, like with my dad, she was just a medical transcriptionist, so she's making like $35,000 a year or something like that. But now she had worked her way all the way up to making about $90,000 a year at this job. Stressful as hell.
Hard work pays off.
I'd hear her complain and do all that stuff.
Where was her office at?
You come down the staircase and then it's right to the right. So it's like it's got like a potted plant in there. It's got like a bay window or like 3 windows.
No, when I say office.
At home?
She worked at home?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said she worked at.
Oh no, she works for Nuance.
Okay.
But
from the house.
she works from home.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's like where like all of our internet and crap is against like the wall. And
like a home office?
Yeah,
exactly. Work out?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like originally a dining room, but then it was transitioned into like her office. And then,
fights and fusses with mom, or
no, I mean,
were you the baby? You were truly the family baby?
For my mom.
Yeah. She's okay.
For my mom.
Mom's favorite.
Yeah,
okay.
And I mean, I had been being told that because again, it's like this last 6 or 7 months was just like stressful for everybody.
Sure.
And countless times my dad would like come up to me and he'd make like me feel like he'd try and use things and word things to make me feel guilty so that I would, do everything that I can, like get a job.
Almost like a motivation.
Right. And he'd tell me time and time again that, you're her favorite. I mean, she would do anything for you. And, I mean, it's like, I don't need to hear that. I mean, that's not what would motivate me.
Sure.
But no, with Mom, I think we yelled at each other a grand total of like 3 or 4 times my whole life. I've never like yelled at her for anything because I mean she's never done anything wrong. She's always been the one who's
stood by you.
Stood by me, but tried to, even during our early childhood when it was really rough with our dad.
Why is that?
My dad's a Leo type A, Italian
Mm-hmm.
personality man. He's very focused on his future.
Mm-hmm.
He's very focused on everything that he's sacrificed in his life for the betterment of all of us. You know, like he's always dreamed of going hiking up in the mountains. They have a property up in Tennessee that they built. And
You been there?
me and Cody and Jason have never been up to that house just because
Did Mom and Dad hide that from you? That's our secret hideaway?
a little bit.
No kids allowed?
A little bit, but I mean
Have
they.
you seen the pictures, I think?
Oh yeah.
What kind of place is it?
It's nice. It's like I think my dad has emphasized that it's about half the size of the house out in Juliota where we all grew up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I mean, super modern. It's got like the brick layout on the whole thing. It's on like 4 or 6 acres or something like that.
And where's it at? Tennessee, you said?
Tennessee, and it's
Is this up in the place like they rent the rental cabin areas where a lot of touristy people?
No, it's very secluded.
Okay.
It's God, why am I so terrible at remembering these things? It's like an hour out from Gatlinburg.
Okay.
God, I can't remember. But
It's
it's
that kind of general area.
It's very secluded. It's like you see a house like on the satellite thing, and then it's got like acres and acres and acres of trees, and then you might see like another house right over there. And then off like the back end of their property, they would send us pictures where it's got like the guardrail, but it overlooks like a valley.
Mm-hmm.
So that property had actually been causing my dad a lot of stress because I think it's been built for like 5 or 6 years. He only goes up there once every month, once every couple months just to do maintenance, not to like enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And then every like other month, him and my mom would go up there for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's like my mom would always just be like, you know, I'm working every day. Like we're doing stuff in the yard, we're clearing this, clearing that.
Didn't get to enjoy that.
Right. And then my dad, apparently there was like this hog issue up there that it's been destroying his lawn, you know, everything that they're maintaining.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'll do that.
you know, he was like stressing about all the money that's costing him, and yeah, so like, yeah, I guess back to your original statement with my mom, never any issues. I mean, it was always like if there was somebody that I could talk to and like Cody wasn't available, I'd always talk to my mom. I'd always let her know what's going on. Yeah, I mean, she would help me out through anything.
Okay. Tell me about Dad.
Dad,
What does he do?
Dad's a pharmacist.
Okay.
He works for CVS. He's been a pharmacist for, I think, 35 years or so.
Always worked for CVS?
No, he worked for the hospital, ORMC actually, or I think it was something orange back in the day. But he worked for ORMC for about 15 years, and then he worked with home infusion with Ambient Healthcare for like 11 years or 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally got into the sales one with CVS.
What do you mean?
Where he like sits in a cubicle and then he's got the headphone on, and then if somebody calls in, he just like tells them what they have to do, like pharmacy wise. So
Talking to other pharmacists?
Retail pharmacy. So he wouldn't go to like the CVS's that you see on the side of the road. He was at like Caremark or something like that, which is owned by CVS.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 650 employees. He'd tell me about like how it's
a bunch of pharmacists doing the same thing
Right,
he's
yeah.
doing? Basically talking to other pharmacists?
Talking to other pharmacists, talking to doctors, talking to patients.
Gotcha.
Patients for like their home health care stuff that they have, and they just call into the 24-hour pharmacist, and then you know, they help them through with whatever they got.
Do you like that job better than being in a CSA?
No, he hated it. He tried because he was fired from and then he was like IV home infusion with Florida Hospital's home infusion group for only about 2 or 3 years. He was fired from that for being, like, I guess, to not, like, soft, but like an asshole, because he would, like his manager or something was this, like, young woman, and then she was giving him crap, and then he's like, I've been a pharmacist for this many years, like, and you're younger than me, it's like, I don't have to listen to you, you know.
Right.
So I guess he blew up one day when he was down at work, and then because of that, he ended up getting fired, and then he was out of work for about 3 months. And then he was trying to get back into the hospital system, trying to do home infusion again. But because of how old he is, and because he has an RPH degree, which was the original pharmacist degree, he doesn't have the new PharmD. He just wasn't able to get back into the avenue that he wanted to. So that's why he was forced, basically, to go to retail. So, but, I mean, he'd tell me every day or every week that, he hates it. He's just trying to get to that retirement earmark so that he can stop. Because when he goes up to Tennessee, he doesn't want to get recertified in Tennessee and even work part-time like what his dad does.
What do you mean? What does his dad do?
His dad's also a pharmacist, but he originally lived in Florida, and then now he lives in South Carolina. And he just works part-time as a pharmacist, but he got the whole recertification so he could keep doing that.
Right. Dad make good money?
I think he would tell me that he makes like between $110,000 and $120,000 a year.
Not bad money.
So yeah, it's not bad.
Well, so I'm sure him and Mom are both happy to see, that both of you going to that program.
Right.
You can make more. You always want your child to do better than you.
Right, and I mean, that was what my dad always emphasized. When we were younger, going through grade school and high school and college, we were heavily restricted, but we were allowed to do some things. Like, it wasn't like Jason's situation where he was just like the door's locked, you're staying in there type thing.
And who was that? Who was keeping? Who was the disciplinarian in the family?
My dad.
And was he the one that decided Jason stays locked in?
Yeah.
What did Mom think about that?
Mom didn't approve of it, obviously, but back in that time, my dad was a very angry, violent type person.
Overbearing.
He would push my mom, and one instance, it was getting to that age where me and Cody were kind of getting old enough to maybe be able to do something if she needed our help. And I remember her and my dad were in their room, which if you go down the stairs, it's right there to the left. We heard our mom yell that he's hurting me, and then me and Cody run downstairs, and we go into the room, and then we're trying to get our dad off of our mom, and then my dad elbows back, and that's why my nose has got its little bridge right there. But I mean, that's how he was, spankings with a 2x4, baseball practice, it'd be 4 or 5 hours, and he's hurling the ball as fast as an adult can, and we're 7th to 8th grade trying to catch this stuff. Yeah, I mean, definitely very overbearing, but he would always rationalize that he's just trying to secure our future.
Violent towards the family?
Violent towards my mom and towards me, never to and towards Jason, but never to Cody.
Why?
I mean,
Cody his favorite?
Yeah.
I mean, 3 boys?
Yeah. And with that, I mean, I could kind of see it, but Cody also never really made any mistakes. He did a few things wrong. He lied a few times. He cost my dad some money a few times, but he was never a repeat offender, I guess you could say, whereas me and Jason, we had that difficulty where it's okay, we got a C or we got a D on something, and I just don't want to tell Dad about it.
Sure.
But then he would find out, and then,
Dad ever abuse you?
When we were younger.
How so?
Spankings with a 2x4, and then he'd use it was a 2x4 that was fashioned into a paddle called the lightning rod, I think is what it was called. No, he broke it on me.
I'd be sorry. I would probably take it was my dad, take it out and burn it.
Yeah.
So he didn't have it anymore.
But yeah, he would he'd do that, and then he'd push you around. He wouldn't punch you. He wouldn't bruise you.
Slap you?
He never slapped me, but I guess I should say the only place that I ever got bruised was on my butt from being spanked.
Belittle you?
He would belittle me when I was younger, but again...
How long since you've been out of work?
No, I mean, not really. He would just make me feel bad that, he would make me feel bad that Cody's doing all this stuff to,
and you're not.
And I'm not. I'm not contributing.
You're not as valuable, maybe.
Right.
The detective is trying to get ammunition to use later. or place a motive. Grant was upset with his father for prior abuse and the fact he tried to guilt him all the time. The detectives can use this later to help justify Grant's actions, so Grant may confess to his crimes without feeling bad because his dad was abusive, so the detectives will say. This tactic can be extremely effective on someone who murdered out of anger.
Maybe that's not the right word, but you're not, like I said, contributing enough to what needs to be done.
Right, and then...
but nobody knows better than you that you want to be out there, you want to have your dad.
The detective maintains that he's on Grant's side, and he knows what Grant wants to do, and that Grant just couldn't because of his silly charge.
The problem, I guess, was that I was always like the jokester, the one that could calm everybody down, make everybody smile. If it was a heated situation, I could say a joke or something and then make everybody kind of move past it. And I was just in the point where it's like, I'm hearing, all this stuff from Dad. I'm seeing how much Cody's helping me. Mom's stressed out with her job. And it's like I'm not doing anything. And it's like I'm in that situation where it's like I'm not doing something because I don't want to. I'm held out because I'm waiting for this whole legal thing to get taken care of and then for jobs.
We've been talking for a while. Do you get stretch your legs to go to the bathroom or anything real quick?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
12 hours a day working as a nurse. I'm used to sitting or standing.
Take advantage of it. That's why I said I want to make sure that if you do, we take those breaks. And sometimes it's time to collect your thoughts because, just sitting talking.
Right.
Thinking about what you're saying. I want to make sure you got a break spin in because this isn't the hospital. And make sure that you want to...
No, I'm good. It's like with water and stuff. I'm not a breakfast person and waters. So... when's the last time your dad put his hands on you? The last time my dad put his hands on me would be, I'd say, kind of the middle of December of 2018.
What happened?
It's because, with all the money that had been getting spent and, I guess just the mix of everything that I've been saying just kind of boiling up in him. And the fact that to him, it seemed like I wasn't concerned about it. So, and then plus I was, I wasn't acting like myself with the jovialness and, all that kind of stuff. My father chose to admit me to like a depression or an addiction clinic or something like that in Fort Lauderdale called Cornerstone.
When was that?
That was December 22nd.
Okay.
Until I think January 4th.
Did you agree to go?
I didn't, but they said that, this was your only...
Who said?
My dad.
Okay.
And that was in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes, yeah.
Did your mom agree with it?
My mom and my brother both agreed, but it was my dad who was like the iron fist, like, this is what's going to happen. Like, he can't...
Why did he say you needed to go? What was his reasoning?
Because with the way that I was acting, he didn't see that I was doing anything for like the positive. And a lot of it just came back to money with him. He would like allow me to spend money that he had like with his credit card or something like that. But it's like then whenever I did, it was like a huge problem.
Okay, so you had one of his credit cards.
Yeah.
And what were you buying with it?
Well, what I was doing is over the past 4 months or something like that, I've been talking to this woman online.
Who's she?
She's as embarrassing as it is. She's a cam model.
A what?
A cam model. Do either of you guys know what that
is? Nope. Just like all the videos stuff, you have to tell us.
A cam model, it's like it's like a virtual girlfriend, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Like that type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the money went to her.
Okay. Where's she at?
She lives in Bulgaria.
Where?
Bulgaria.
Where's that?
Over in Europe. It's like outside of Germany.
Okay.
Something like that.
You ever been there?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't that serious.
Okay.
So what would you give her money for?
Just for like the time online with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was just like that type of thing.
And what did she charge? By the minute? By the hour?
Minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much is it per minute?
Oh God, I think it was like 90 tokens a minute, and it's like the conversion rate for all of that is like $600 for like 5,000 or something tokens or something like that. So, and then it was 4 hours a night.
Okay, so I did the math. At $600 for 5,000 tokens and 90 tokens a minute, that's 12 cents a token, which comes out to be $10.80 a minute. It's a 4-hour long stream. Grant would pay $2,592 a stream if he watched the whole thing.
So that's basically just where all the costs went to, was you pay real money for the tokens, then you use the company's digital currency for that.
So you do that, and when did you meet her?
I met her at the beginning of July. Yeah, at the very beginning of July.
Okay, and still talking to her?
Still, yeah. I mean, more just on Twitter, just through direct messaging. Again, cell phone service doesn't work, so it's I can't use the chatting like that.
How much do you think you spent on this? Because it seems kind of pricey.
Yeah.
90 tokens and $5,000 for how many tokens?
No, it's $600 for 5,000.
For 5,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So how much do you think you spent on this?
Probably close to $200,000, I'd say.
$200,000?
Yeah.
The detectives don't judge Grant for the cam model and keep rolling with it as Grant himself gets slightly embarrassed. Their acceptance keeps him pushing, and he admits that he spent $200,000 of his dad's and brother's money on this woman and lied about it to his family. This also sets up motive for why Grant would murder them.
And where'd the money come from?
Money came from me, my brother, and then my dad.
Did they know where the money was going to?
They didn't know that it was going to a cam model.
What did you
I
tell
was
them?
saying that it was going towards my Twitch streaming, advertising, putting my name out there and that type of thing.
But based on what you're telling me, only so many people make so much money. I think just a few
Just a
in the country
handful.
make a bunch of money.
Right.
So that was the ultimate goal, is to get to that.
I was
level.
hoping that the stars would align, and then I would be one of those people, because I was good at the games, and I'm a funny, pleasant person on the camera and that type of thing. So, yeah, I mean that's. So I guess to like bring it all back with why I was brought to Cornerstone, it was a mix of all of those things. It's like he felt like, you know, he felt like
You need to be grounded.
yeah. And so then I was there, you know, I spoke to like the therapist and psychiatrist and all that stuff. I didn't need any medications for anything. They had analyzed it as, this is an isolated event. You've been out of work, you have this PTSD from the whole getting arrested thing, and I mean, the last thing on my record was, I think, a speeding ticket back when I was at UCF. And then, you know, just having all of that stuff going on, but then I didn't. They had signed me up, I think, to be there for 60 days. But then I was only there until January 4th. So
who paid for that?
My brother, Cody.
What was the cost of that? You know,
$15,000. It was $15,000, and then I think when I had gotten back, we were going through the process of calling them and seeing if we could get any type of refund. And I think they said that he was going to get refunded $3,000 from his $15,000.
Sure.
But I don't there so long.
Right. But I don't know if that transaction had ever gone through yet.
So their final diagnosis of you was what?
That I was fine. That
didn't need to be there.
Yeah. That I was fine. I told them all about like my living situation and how it had been stressful, and then it got better, and then now it's just stressful again. But they had all just said that it was just this isolated event.
Situational PTSD from
right. Yeah, like once
the
you
last 6 months.
Once you can get this legal thing taken care of, which I don't know if I mentioned, but when we looked online and we saw that all the charges had been dropped, that was on like November 30th or 31st, the day before we were going to Japan. So, while that was good and everything, I still knew that it was still going to be like on your record until you get it expunged. So, you know, I was still thinking, okay, at least now I can maybe start applying when we get back from Japan. Sure. But, you know, yeah. So, I mean,
after you get back, you got back
on the 15th of December.
You got back I thought you said you went on the 22nd of
Right.
December.
Yeah, that's when I went to. Yeah, it was after Japan.
Okay.
And it was because when I had gotten back, my mom and dad were, dealing with a lot of the financial stuff while we were up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got back, that's where my dad started to get really kind of overbearing. And I mean, rightfully so. I know what I did. But it's like with him, it was every single day, hours a day, hours a day. He'd come home from work, and then he would just talk to me just about the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over again. And
did it get heated?
He would get heated, but
How about you? Did you get heated?
No, I mean, I was always the person in the family where, like, my brother Cody would interrupt my dad when he was talking. My mom would interject and say, you can't be saying that or whatever. But for me, I would just sit there and I would just let my dad talk so that he could say everything that he wanted to say. And then if I saw that it was something that he wanted me to respond to, then I'd respond. But I would never be heated to him,
Sure.
Especially if I felt like I was in the wrong.
Right. To all this, you think you were in the wrong?
I mean, yeah.
To some extent?
To some extent, spending that amount of money, it's idiotic to do that, especially when you're not making
So
it.
$200,000.
Right.
When was the last time that you and your dad did have, a heated conversation?
It would be Thursday, because one of his rules was that I wasn't allowed to talk to the woman anymore that I had been talking to. But I guess you could say behind the scenes, my mom would let me talk to her through her cell phone using Twitter. And, she would tell me, like, look, you have to keep it just basic, because if you say anything or if you entice anything or do anything like that, it might lead her to say something to, like, my dad or something like that. Because,
how would she get in touch with him?
Because apparently when I was in Cornerstone, my dad told her, because he had, like, hacked my computer or something like that, and then he found everything.
Is he an electronics guy like you and your brother?
Except he's more of that, like, hacking level, like, able to do all that stuff. So he had found, like, just the stuff that was related to her. And then, he erased my whole entire computer. He put a password on it. So it's like, even when I came back up until Thursday, like, I wasn't able to go onto my own computer to look at anything.
He's treating you like a small child.
Right. And rightfully so. I mean, spending that amount of money, I was acting childish. I can kind of get it. But, so yeah, anyways, on Thursday, he had apparently found out that I was speaking to her again. Mm-hmm. And when I came back on the 4th, my mom picked me up from the Cornerstone place. And then me and my mom met my dad at California Pizza Grill or Kitchen in Waterford Lakes. Mm-hmm. And he had this list front and back on a piece of paper of all the rules. This is what's going to happen. This is why I'm acting the way that I'm going to act. I'm not going to be Dad anymore. I'm going to be Chad. And I basically told him that I'm going to be present. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to start trying to get jobs now. I told him what my plan was. It wasn't really my intention to continue talking to this woman, but it just kind of happened. And then because there was, like, that emotional connection, I guess you could say, between her and me, like, I like, it felt like a relationship, I didn't want to just stop cold turkey on it. So he had apparently found out, and then
unhappy.
Right, and one of the stipulations was that he told me at the dinner was, if you speak to this woman again, you're out of the house. Like, I'm kicking you out. You can pack up your shit, and then you're off my property. And then, because of the way that he used to be, he had told me that basically if that happens, that if I ever step back onto his property, that he would kill me. So, on Thursday, that all happened, and then I was in the process. I was getting all my stuff together. I was piecemealing it out to the car, and then, I had an interview on Friday. So I had to get my suit out to my car. I was trying to just get all of my necessities as best as I could from, a lifetime of living inside the house. Sure. And then, my brother was working that night, and I think he was working like one of his long nights, but he ended up getting off early. And and then I had met with my brother before he came home, just like in the neighborhood area, and then
Where?
it was just on the like the back side of the house, like along, I don't remember what that road's called, but it's like you take the bend where it has those two blinking lights, and then it's just down that road a ways.
Not for Christmas.
Is it before Christmas when you still turn the corner?
I think so. I'm not
Maybe.
sure. I think so.
Well, it was just down that road.
Okay.
And then I basically brought him up to speed, and he had told me that he was going to do whatever.
What time was that, you think?
God, what time was that?
What time did you go to? Let me back up a second. I apologize. You, Mom, and Dad go to California Pizza Kitchen in Waterford at what time?
Oh, that was all the way back on January 4th.
Oh, you said Thursday.
Oh, that wasn't Thursday.
No.
No,
That was when I had come back from Cornerstone, and he was giving me the rules.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then do Thursday then. We'll
What
check with
happened?
that.
That Thursday that you meet with Cody down the street. This is this past Thursday?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that.
After you and your dad argue.
After me and my dad had argued, and he had told me, this is how it's going to be, and all that stuff.
Okay. This is at the house this past Thursday.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is what now? Saturday?
Saturday.
So
Yeah.
past Thursday, I guess you could still say it. So then I spoke with Cody. He told me about all that. He had given me his debit so that, because I don't have any money and I don't know where to go. I'd never been out of the house on my own. And then the last thing that I was told was just that, basically once again that he'll take care of it because
This is Cody.
This is Cody.
What time is this approximately?
I'd say a little after 10:30ish at night.
Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Okay.
And then, so then after that, I just stayed in the vicinity area for a number of hours, and then I had remembered over some of the nights when I would work overnight, and then I'd be able to get off early, that the Publix on 50 on Colonial, the one that's by the Tractor Supply.
419. Yeah.
Yeah. That Publix, it's like their guest Wi-Fi is always still active even when the store closes down. So I was like, okay, well I'm going to go there because I have my Surface, and I can check on my emails. I had to pull up the address to my interview because I don't have GPS. So then I would write all that stuff down, and then I was basically just waiting in that parking lot until I had to leave to go to the interview. And then that was the last, because again it's no cell phone service. Email was literally my only form of communication. And then, I didn't have any. I went to the DoubleTree because I was like, I can't just stay in my car again all night.
Right. And how did you pay for that?
I paid for it with my debit card.
With your debit card.
Yeah, because I think there was the $400 or $300 and something dollars still left on it.
Okay.
What time did you get there?
The DoubleTree. I think I got there at around 3 or 4 p.m.
Yesterday.
Friday. And then I was just, I would go up to my car so I get a bottle of water or something like that, or if I'd forgotten something, just necessity-wise. And then I was just there the whole night.
Talk to Cody, talk to Mom, talk to
No, I couldn't talk to anybody because I didn't have...
But you had the phone in the room.
Oh, yeah, I did have the phone in the room.
Light confrontation on the issue about the phone, but the detective still laughs and keeps it light to not throw Grant off.
But
Call anybody from the phone room?
No, I didn't even honestly think about it because I was away from a place where I had lived for 25 years or something like that. I had never, as embarrassing as it is, I'd never been on my own.
Right.
The longest period I'd ever been away from anybody is 2 weeks when we were up in Japan. So, But you had your brother with you, so. Right,
so,
yeah.
So you had family with you.
But, so I guess I was waiting to see what would happen with this job because I was told I'd either be told Tuesday or Thursday. And then maybe I would try an outreach or something like that. Or the last time, when it was an issue where I didn't have my phone, my brother would email me. So I was just thinking, if anything, he knows the situation, he'll just email me. So So I checked my email a few times last night, and then I just inevitably was able to go to sleep.
Was it Thursday night that your dad told you that if you talked to the girl that he would kick you out, or was that the conversation on the 4th at California?
That was on the 4th. And then he just went through with it on Thursday.
Okay.
So Thursday, you're home all day.
Yes.
With your mom. She works at home.
Correct, yeah.
Your dad's at work. What's his normal work hours?
He works until, I think he had to go in early that day, because he had to start like doing overtime or something like that. And he normally works though from like 5 or 6 in the morning to, I think he gets home between like 5:30 and 6 at night or something like that.
What time did you get home that day?
He got home at like 5:30.
This is building the timeline of events leading up to the murders. Grant was about to get kicked out, felt all alone, was probably angry about it. All of this will be able to be used against him in court.
5:30, 5:45, one of those two.
Okay. Were you there when he came in?
Yes.
Okay. Well, describe your dad normal come in.
When my dad normally comes in, he'll come in, he'll look into the living room, which is like there's the kitchen and then there's the living room where it's got like the long couch and whatnot that's inside, and then there's the TV right there.
Okay.
So he'll normally come in through there, and then he'll talk or he'll ask us questions or he'll.
Where were you at when he came in?
I was just in there. I was just watching.
In the virtual reality where you said you had that set up?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just watching.
And that's in what room?
The living room.
The living room.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just watching YouTube at that time, just like.
Did Dad talk to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where, because he had, I don't know how he found out, but he had apparently found out, and then.
Found out what?
That I was talking to.
You were still talking
to the woman, yeah. And then he came in, and then he asked me, in a calmer state, I guess you could say, like, basically the leading question of, you know, why do you think we're about to have this conversation? Giving me, I guess, that opportunity to be honest and truthful, to maybe tone it down a little bit. I, of course, did what I always did, where I kind of didn't admit to it. And then he came out and he told me that I had been doing that.
He had proof.
Yeah.
It's honestly ironic that Grant is saying that his dad uses this tactic because it's the same tactic that the detectives are going to use on him. He's even telling them he doesn't normally fess up, so they can think about this when they confront him later. Though, they don't do the best job.
Have an argument?
Yeah. And then, you know, he got just... He had kind of reverted back to the way that he was when we were younger, where, you know, he kind of, you know, pulled me up from the couch, and then he was yelling at me to pack my shit up and just get out of the house. That he was the one who had to be the hammer, and that, you know, why am I making him have to go through this, and all this other kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, you know, basically I had...
So he's becoming violent.
I mean,
like the way you described it when you and Cody were kids.
Right.
What do you do?
Like I said, he pulled me up from the couch just by, like, the shirt that I was wearing. And then, you know, after that, he was basically just having that yelling where it was kind of like cracking. You know, like his voice would either crack or he was basically just yelling at that point and monitoring.
Where's your mom?
My mom was in her office.
Okay.
Because...
and I'm sorry to cut you off. Does mom have, like, an office hours? Like, she would get up and do her work all day, and at a certain time, I'm done doing my office work, and I'm doing my family stuff.
Not really.
Okay, I mean, work there all the time.
Right. She would, I think the major thing that she would do is she would, like, cook dinner.
Seriously, his parents take care of him? He doesn't pay rent right now. He spent $200,000 of their money, and still his mother cooks for the family dinner. Why is Grant not doing that? He has nothing else to do with his time.
Okay.
And then after that, she would go back into her office.
What time was dinner usually, generally?
Between like 7, like I guess usually around 7:30 is when we'd usually have dinner. Most nights.
Did you guys already have dinner that night?
No. I think what was she gonna make? I think she was gonna make something with like chicken or something like that, stir fry or something like that, because Cody was working late, so she didn't want to make something because my dad would always buy meals that were for 4, so we didn't want to pull out anything where there would be leftovers or something like that. So, but she hadn't started making it yet. I think she was defrosting the chicken.
And that was about what time?
What time? I think she took those out like at 4 or something like that in the afternoon.
And at this time, the argument with Dad is at what time?
The argument with Dad is like 6:30 or so.
6:30.
Yeah.
Okay. You have your argument and you pack your stuff?
I have my argument, and then I'm packing my stuff. I'm, taking it out to the car. It took me like a couple hours to get as much as I could, just kind of out into there. And then, yeah, it's like Mom's kind of just staying out of it to a certain degree because she knows like how Dad can be.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I mean, and that's just pretty much where I was just kind of like waiting.
So you wait outside. Did anybody call Cody and tell him what's going on?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. And how did you know to meet Cody down the street?
It's because my mom had actually come and told me that, she was trying to bridge the gap, and then before I actually physically left, I had told my mom that, I'm going to be close, I'm going to be local, I'm just going to be like down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And then.
So you left?
So I left.
Okay.
And then.
What time do you think you left about?
Oh, God.
If it's 6:30, the argument started. How long do you think before you left?
I'd say like 9 or 9:30 or so. And then, yeah. So then, I mean, yeah, that's because I guess.
How did Mom
I
tell
think
you
it's
about
because
Cody then?
I think it's because like Cody had called the house, and then my mom picked up. And then he was just letting, like, how we would normally do, where, like, I got off early because he was supposed to work till, like, 11 or something like that.
But he came home early.
And then, yeah, he was able to
come home early because of the fight, you think?
I don't know, honestly. But, he had, I mean, like, that week, even on the days that he was working until 3, he would come home at, like, noon or 1 or something that week, so maybe it was just a slow week. But apparently that had happened, and then my mom was able to
tell him what was going on.
Right, and then she told me.
Did Cody have the gun affinity you have? He did. He liked guns like you did.
Right, yeah.
Did he keep any guns on him?
I think Cody had his, carry, his pistol.
Okay.
And then he...
What did he normally carry?
It was like a Smith & Wesson M9 shield or armor or core something.
Okay.
And then the only other gun that he had was his clay shooting shotgun.
Okay. Did your dad carry any guns?
My dad, to my knowledge, he has like 2 SKSs or something like that, and then he has a Glock something.
Did he carry the Glock with him normally?
Normally, no.
No? Okay. What else happened?
What else happened?
Mm-hmm.
Then after I had met with Cody, then that's where, I was again just kind of staying around that area, and then I just went to the Publix, and then to my knowledge, I mean, that was the last interaction that I had with the 3 members of my family.
The last interaction I had with the 3 members of my family. What the hell kind of statement is that? Like, seriously, if you are innocent, you would never say that.
Was that?
Was about what time? Last time you saw your mom was what time, approximately?
All of this is building timeline, so that way, if Grant makes any mistakes, they can go back and question him about it later.
Last time I saw my mom, I'm just trying to think. Last time that I saw my mom was... God, when did I say that I met Cody? Or when Cody
exact time.
Stopped by? It was like 45 minutes before that.
Okay, so
when Cody called the house, you said your mom told him about the argument.
Right.
When you left, you said you told your mom you were going to be in the area.
Right.
How then does Cody now know where to meet you, or if he's going to meet you?
Yeah.
This is where the detectives start to ask the same questions they've already gotten answers to. Firstly, they are trying to get a timeline for exactly when the events took place. Secondly, they are trying to see if Grant will tell different events than he did the last time he answered. Any inconsistencies can be used later to confront Grant. This is the 3rd or 4th time they've asked him this, and his answers get more complex each time. Grant adds more details, saying first, that he just went down the road. And then he said he told his mom he would be down the road, and Cody just looked for him. And now he's saying he told his mom where he would be, she found him, then she told Cody where he was, and Cody came to him. This whole story is made up, as the detectives will get Grant to admit to later. But they are letting Grant dig himself a deeper hole by telling lies he can't keep up with.
Because that's when my mom had come out to where I said that I was going to be on that road somewhere.
Okay.
And then she was able to do that. And then I guess that's how she knew, like, where to, I don't know if she talked to Cody again or if she was able to do that. But then she was able to, like, pinpoint that area.
Okay, so this would have been late at night?
Right.
8, 9, 10 o'clock, somewhere like that time?
Yeah.
So dinner was over. You guys already had dinner?
We hadn't had dinner because of the whole argument that was happening.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't think, the chicken never got past just being in the wrappers over where she would always defrost it.
So you leave, go on your way, Cody goes home,
Right.
and you have no contact with anybody since then.
Right.
I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything before we can close it out. Just a second, Grant. You want to take this? This is a good time right now to take it.
I'm good.
Bathroom break, anything?
No, I feel fine.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just water.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
This is a good halfway point to stop at. Part 2 will be out Friday at 7 p.m. EST. Like and subscribe for more interrogation breakdown and true crime videos to come. If you have one, leave a suggestion in the comments below. Thank you and have a wonderful day.